and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Crypto Maniacs Podcast. I'm John Go. I'm a very tired John Go, stressed out John Go, but thankfully we've got a refreshed and uppity Taskmaster 4450 here for you guys, and we are recording this and live streaming this super late. It's almost 10 p.m. where Task is. Dude, have you stayed up this late recently, or is this new for you?
No, I'm not usually in bed at this time of late. Got into a bad habit, staying up later. Too much Leo glossary stuff.
Are you working on Leo Glossary a lot now? Like,
Yeah, did about 100, maybe 300 posts in the last week.
that's
250.
crazy, dude. That's insane.
Yeah, we're into music now. We're into movies. I mean, I got streaming stuff going on. I mean, it's
So, like, this is good information. I'm glad we're talking about this now because it's something I wanted to ask you. You've been doing all of this work on leofinance.io. Is it staying Leo Finance or is it going to in Leo? Exactly, what's the plan for the
well,
glossary?
the you type in leofinance.io, it forwards you now to inleo.io. So there is no more leofinance.io. I mean, you still use the URL, but it redirects you. And so now all the terms that I have in my browser, that typically is how I start linking them, is inleo.io. And of course, anything that I've set up in the last week is using the inleo.io URL. And so, this since Leo Finance dropped down to a community, and now Leo is much wider, it expanded the scope of Leo Glossary. So, what I'm doing right now is I'm doing a combination. There's like four different areas, and I did a video on this yesterday, I think it was. But one of the ideas is to build something similar to Rotten Tomatoes on there. And it's got a page and it's got a write up about a film. It's got the cast. It's got, all the information there. Uh, and hopefully we'll get long form polling where I can take a poll and put it right in there and people can vote on that movie forever, just like you do on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a 5, it's a 1, it's a 3, whatever you want to vote it. And then I started playing around and I was just throwing at the bottom trailers off YouTube because YouTube has all the trailers for every movie. But then I started finding streams I could embed for some of the movies, not all of them. So now I've started to embed streams right into these. So people can actually go to the in Leo page for, I'm trying to think of one that's up there. But you go to the page, and right in the middle will be a YouTube video or maybe one other stream, and you just hit play, full size it on your screen, and you're watching it right from Leo. So that's one project, or two projects, I guess you could say. Then the other is music. There was a music community I set up, and now we're doing things such as albums and stuff. There's a problem on the Leo UI. They don't do real well with YouTube embedding, so they got to get that straightened out. And what it looks actually real good, like an album will look real good on Peak D. And again, that's a long form post with information about the album, then all the album songs from YouTube. And it's right there. So it's just like if you bought the album, now you just listen to the 10 songs or whatever. Um, so, these are some of the directions in addition to terms. And of course, as I get into something new, I got to build out the pages because then I got to get movie studio, I got to get mystery genre, I got to get actor and character and screenplay and all those pages built so they can be linked. And the idea is all under one umbrella to keep linking this. And, right now I got 3 people involved other than myself and somebody else who he's in Asia. He said he would send me some stuff in the morning. We'll see if he does. So, it's, I'm looking at making this the biggest project on Leo, and I'm going to get enough stuff up there so Cal has to listen to me.
I got a question, man. Best movie ever, what would it be?
Oof. You mean from a classical standpoint?
Just no, like if you were stranded on an island and you had a DVD or an MP4 to watch for the rest of your life, what movie would that be?
Oh, I couldn't do that anyway. I don't know. There's so many great films. I mean, there's nothing. I'll give you one thing about movies. Like the like API, not API, whatever they call it, top 100 films. Only one has been created in the last 20 years. That just shows you how shitty movies have become. I don't know. There, if you go way back, I mean, North by Northwest was awesome. A lot of the older stuff, 12 Angry Men was great. Then you get into, stuff like Schindler's List was very powerful.
Shawshank, too.
Shawshank Redemption was amazing. I mean, anything with Morgan Freeman in it is amazing. Then you get even into, I love films like The Negotiator with Kevin Spacey.
Right.
I don't know. I mean,
it's like you could ask me that question and I know it like right off the bat. For me, it's Aliens.
Draft Day?
No, Aliens.
No.
Aliens. Oh, absolutely.
Man, there weren't too many.
The greatest sequel in the history of movies. Like,
it's been a great sequel, but it's not the greatest movie.
It's my favorite. If you said I had to watch one movie for the rest of my life, it would be Aliens.
Man, you've spent like 40 years watching the Bills. What the fuck do you know? But anyway,
we beat you guys. As pathetic as that was the other night, I mean,
dude,
that was.
I would put money down on Dion and Colorado against the New York Giants right now,
dude. It was, yeah. So, New York should have won that.
But
man.
Anyway, getting back to Leo Glossary, so that's what it is. I mean, it's really something that's organic and can keep spreading. And I guess I got myself into the situation of, okay, let's go after Wikipedia and try to build this on the blockchain.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like you're basically trying to build Wikipedia.
At this point, yeah, I can go in any direction. And I mean, the guy I talked to today or DM today, he said he'll send me some stuff. I laid out what the options are. I don't know which direction he's going to go, but even if with the terms, I said you could go wherever you want. You go geography, you could go history, you could go sports, you could go.
Right.
It could go anywhere. I mean, you could go presidents of the United States, you could go queens of England, the popes. I mean, anything. So, I mean, that's just really what we're looking at is over the next 3-4 years. If enough people get involved with this, I mean, this could become enormous. And the other thing is with Leo and the ad revenue, I mean, one of the reasons why I'm building out so many pages right now, one of the ideas is to get that ad revenue flowing, hopefully, and then there's resources to pay people and to incentivize people to get involved. And so that's how you look at scaling it. But it's one of those things where I want to get enough momentum going into the next year where people say, well, what's Hive? What's being done on Hive? It's like, well, we're building a decentralized Wikipedia on the blockchain. We're building Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb on the blockchain, decentralized, censorship resistant, decentralized polling. I mean, think about if and Cal wants to do it, if they can figure out, he says it's going to take some back end work. If they can get polling into blog posts, because that's what these are, is blog posts. Now you have decentralized polling. because you can only vote with a Leo account or with a Hive account, and it's all on the blockchain. So every vote is registered. So,
Right.
you know, Rotten Tomato or IMDb is owned by Amazon. I mean, okay, you see an Amazon flick. I mean, oh, it's a 98% approval rating. Yeah, well, they botted the living shit out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, this is where the transparency of blockchain uh, is a benefit because, you know, you can see who voted. You can see who voted what. You can see who voted on what day. I mean, you got to be able to pull the information off the blockchain, but it's all there. And anybody who has that capability can look at it and say, yeah, these are all legit. Uh, and then, you know, you never know what kind of technologies will come down the road over the next couple of years, what either Hive will add, what Leo will add, or what technologies add, and, you know, what type of streaming capabilities or whatever else can be incorporated into this. I mean, we have AI going nuts. I mean, with these chatbots. So where does that fit in 2 years, 3 years? Who knows where that crap will be?
Right. Good point. We got a few questions, a little mix from last week and this week. You ready to dive in?
Yep, go ahead.
Let's go. Threadcast. Drop all your questions here. Let's get right into it. This is the way Threadcast should work. This is Nifty put up a little screenshot here. Thanks to Opera GX browser, I can overlay the video super easy. Feedback. So, oh yeah, I see what he's saying. So what he wants to see the embed for the Threadcast, like the video right in the middle, so that you could literally, instead of the image that we've got up there, like have the live stream.
I can put the YouTube embed in there if I have it. But you know, when I put up the Threadcast, I don't have the YouTube link because it's not set up. Django sets that up. But yeah, you know, that's what I did during Hive Fest. Right in the threads were the streams that the Hive Fest YouTube account set up, and I just put it right in there. Unfortunately, they kept crashing it. So, but yes, I think what Nifty's saying is absolutely correct. And that's why, John, I mean, if you could set up the Threadcast early, I mean, you're working, but you can't. But if you got the Threadcast up, or if you got the broadcast up on YouTube and gave me the URL, even though we're not broadcasting, I could stick it in the Threadcast and it would be right there. I could edit it once we go live. The problem is it takes like 20 minutes for the edit to go through, or 10 minutes on right. Leo. So that's a little slow. But I think Cal has ideas, because the Threadcasts are becoming very popular. And I think he wants to try to figure out some way to get the spaces to show up on the page or right. something like that. He's not going to go out and build this stuff. He said,
you should be, with APIs and stuff, you should be able to just feed it right into the thread.
You should be able to do something, or feed it, you know, like you know how if you start a YouTube video in one tab and you go to another tab and it's playing, it'll show up on the bottom right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, if you could do that with like spaces, even where it just shows up on the bottom right, and as people scroll up and down, it's right there, that would work too. But right. I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, Nifty's right on the button. Yeah, this is what I've been saying about video and trying to play with ways to get this embedded in this stuff and get this on chain. Another thing, and Nifty commented on it, I sent a feedback feedback thread. I think all users on Leo should be able, in their top line threads, to put YouTube videos, put YouTube links, and they show up. And then Nifty came back and said Spotify previews too, which, okay, that's fine too. I can live with that too. And he agreed with that. Forex Broker agreed with it. Some other people agreed with it. That, you know, why should we limit? I mean, the idea of limiting people from taking their Hive links and just spamming, that makes sense, but we shouldn't preclude people from putting especially video and audio up there, because we know people share that and people sit on the site and don't watch it.
Yeah, that is so true. And Nifty just put in potentially could be done with an iframe. Dude, the fights we've had, because we've been dealing with iframes for 20 years. I mean, it's a big part of the industry that we were in. A bunch of even if you look at Views or you look at CTPX, I mean, that has to operate in iframes. But the problem is that people made their websites break out of frames and they wouldn't allow frames. So I hear you. A lot of can be done if there was better protection in place, right? But a lot of people just don't want to fight with it. They don't want to
see a lot of the videos that I've been doing. I get off one site, what I was talking about, embedding the videos, that uses iframe. And I can do that on a blog post. I can't do it on a thread because the thread is limited to 250 or 240 characters, and the iframe goes over it. Now, anybody watch the AMA, if you go premium, when that goes live, you'll have up to 1,000 characters. So that means, I never really checked how many characters the iframe is, but I think most of them are like 400 or so. So then, Nifty, I think you might be right. We could just grab the iframe and use that.
Yep. A couple of feedback from our couple of opinions, not necessarily feedback. Shawshank was incredible. Gladiator is high on tokenized lists.
Gladiator is good one.
Gladiator is good. Nifty said, I don't know what I jumped into, but yes, aliens. See? Nifty knows. Nifty knows. He understands. Godfather. We have a God. I gotta definitely vote that. And
now let me ask you, John. Let me ask you, since we're going down the movie route, which is fine because I've been immersed in movies for 8 days. Best mafia movie. Do you go with The Godfather? I'm not a huge Godfather fan.
I was born like right when The Godfather was coming out, right? Like it was the mid 70s.
No,
right?
you weren't. The Godfather was in like 72.
72, so early 70s, but like Godfather 2, Godfather 3, like all of this, whatever. My favorite, like my
favorite's actually Goodfellas.
Goodfellas is up there, but for me, the one that I've watched over and over and over again is Casino. I love Casino. I thought Casino was just absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
on many levels.
That's true. I don't often think of that as a mob movie, but
it's not. But it is. It's got the ties
I mean,
to it.
They're mobsters,
right? Yeah, but it's like it's not so Goodfellas. I would say Goodfellas. I Godfather, obviously, like gangster movies and stuff. Scarface. I mean, there's so many. There's a lot, anyways.
Okay, everybody who's listening, best sports movie.
Oh, Draft Day, come on.
That's a good one. I can't argue.
Yeah, Draft Day. It's the movie I watch every single year. Like I have to. And we have another one for Casino. Tokenized says Casino too. So yeah, Casino was fantastic.
I'm not going to argue against that, but I don't think of it as a mob movie, and I should, because it's a mob running, Vegas at that time. But
Free Compliments brings up Clockwork Orange. Stanley frickin' Kubrick.
There you go.
Clockwork Orange. That's go into the minds of Stanley with that one.
Hey, Nifty. What's your review? I haven't seen you write up a review for Caligula. How did you feel about that film?
This show is going down south real quick.
They didn't have any feet in it, I don't think, really.
Jeez. Anyways, we're gonna move on to some more questions here. The Threadcast is going crazy. I'll dive into that. Free compliment said, "You pranksters waited until I posted the podcast isn't happening. Only post seconds later that it is happening. Clever minxes you." Yes. Tokenized wants to know who's going to win the Stanley Cup. Oilers. That's easy. Come on, it's an easy one. What are they? They're up 6-1 right now.
This is how much I know about hockey. Forex Broker was posted a screenshot about a game going on. I had to ask, is this regular season or preseason? I don't even know if they've started.
They started. It's
not pretend hockey.
Officially the second week of the season, but
They're still in pretend basketball, aren't they?
pretend. Yes. Pretend basketball. That's next week is real basketball. So
And the Giants are still in the exhibition season
they're
too.
in they're 1-5, right? Is that what they are right now? 1-5. 1-5. That's their record. So
I think they've won. Did they win a game?
they
Yeah, I
won
guess.
one. Yeah.
What's sad is the Giants are worse than the Jets. And
Well,
the Jets,
yeah.
everybody and their brother railed their quarterback, after Rodgers went down. And the Jets have won like 3 games or something.
Nifty is itching at this, so we're going to bring this up because it's actually one of the questions. Token says, what was the motivation behind the town hall group for running a witness?
The motivation tokenized is basically, I guess it was Eric. I haven't heard otherwise, but I think Eric had the idea of setting up a monthly call, a monthly spaces about Hive.
Right.
And to do 2 things. First is Eric is big on spaces and the potentiality that you get more info out there about Hive and it's on spaces and maybe you can get people viewing it or listen to it from the outside. But the other thing is to have a forum and spaces allows this where people can talk. So a forum where you can have people come on and you can have a set discussion, kind of like we did in the first one. And people can come on and voice their opinions. They can state what they see. They can, add to the conversation. And, a lot of people can jump in, whether they're developers, whether they're just users, whether they're project managers, whether they're witnesses, whatever. So I think he had this idea of creating this forum where the community could come and have a voice and make their voices heard. And so then the discussion kind of morphed from there into, well, could we set up a witness server that kind of uses that same mindset of let's go to get the most votes. Let's try to cater to the smaller users. Let's try to be a community server, because when you look at Nifty, when you look at myself, when you look at Nomad Soul, when you look at John G. Olson, you typically don't have to go very far on this blockchain to find one of the 4 of us.
Right.
We're always around one of us. And so I think it was a situation where the conversation kind of took a toll to saying, well, a lot of people don't know about a lot of these factors of Hive, such as governance, witness, and so obviously that was to be included in the town hall. But then the conversation kind of veered into, well, are these people even being represented? Are these people even, thought about? And it's not to say that the top witnesses don't, but who the hell knows? Because you don't see a lot of them. Gandalf. The only time you hear him is if you happen to get on the developer call. That's where the guy resides. Block trades is accessible in many instances if you know where to find them. But he's on the developer call. He puts out a post once a month, once every few months about what his team's doing, and that's it. And so this was kind of an idea of where the community could find one of us, voice things. We could talk about it amongst ourselves and maybe do a little back channeling. We know a Nomad Soul has a lot of contacts with a lot of the top witnesses. Django has some, I have some. And so there's always the potentiality where if there is something, we can kind of back channel it. We can go talk to other witnesses and get the sentiments expressed. So that was the motivation behind it. I don't think I missed anything in there, Django, did I?
No, but just echoing what you said, I think like the top witnesses in on this blockchain have done a fantastic job of securing the chain. The fork of steam, everything is smooth. It's been fantastic. It's been wonderful. One of the things that I always felt was that there needs to be more emphasis on, just like you said, you're not hard to find. Task is not hard to find. Eric is not hard to find. Nifty is not hard to find. Hopefully, I'm not hard to find. So I really thought that this blockchain could always have an open approach to witnesses. Now, there's some guys that you just want behind the keyboard, smashing code and protecting us and doing great things. But I think you have to also have that community feel, the people persona. You can actually know these people and you can see them every day and they engage with us every day. So that's what was really, a big thing when Eric started talking about it and we were all together and we were just like, that just makes sense. Like we talk about this as Web3 and we're community and this, that, and a third. Well, damn it, let's be Web3. Let's be community. Let's be open. Let's talk to people. Let's actually, have a witness out there that can, people it's accessible to, and they can feel that they can come and shoot the poop with us whenever they want. So,
well, and one thing I did forget, and this is very important, is to have a wide degree of experience and talents. I had zero input at setting up the witness server. I will have zero input at the maintaining of the witness server, and I'll have zero input if anything goes wrong with the witness server, because you don't want Task messing around with any of that stuff. And so when it was being set up and the blockchain was being replayed and these guys were talking about it, there were zero comments from me about it. That's not my forte. It's not my area of expertise, and I'm not even going to mess with it. The problem you have with witness servers, for the most part, is the majority of them are run by technical people for obvious reasons. It's very technical.
right.
But that's not a true representation of where things are going and what necessarily the skill set of people having influence is. Because you need people who understand economics and monetary situations. You need people who understand marketing. You need people who understand entrepreneurship. You need people who understand business building.
Right.
And, that's where when we got together, we felt we had enough of a diverse background that we could cover a lot of bases. And so you essentially have a community server, and I don't mean community, the wire community. I'm talking, the server itself was put together by community members. And one of the thoughts maybe going forward is that other communities will do something similar where they will incorporate a variety of people. And by the way, Speak Network already does this because their server is run by somebody technical, probably Vaultec, but somebody technical. You have Dan and Starkers involved. You got Eddie Spino involved. Dan and Starkers are not developers. Eddie, I don't think, has any development experience. But they all bring different backgrounds. They bring, obviously, Eddie brings the ability to engage with the Spanish-speaking community. He does a lot of PR and customer service work for them. And then, Dan and Matt do a lot of the other things. So, I think there's going to be a lot of this concept going forward where communities get, the communities get together and say, let's run a witness server. And okay, you're technical, you got marketing. Okay, you got business mindset, you got an entrepreneurial mindset. Let's put this together. So I think that's also an important component
Right.
to it.
Yeah, for sure. And we need it all. I mean, that's the beauty of Hive. It's it's the pulse of the community.
And guess what? It's permissionless. We asked nobody permission to do it. We just did it.
Yep. Beautiful things. John Timms comes up with, even if artificial general intelligence for AI is achieved in the future, what's the chance that the general population just isn't even told about it? Skynet goes online. End of world.
Yeah, unless they talk about it on CNN, or most people are on whatever, Desperate Housewives or Dancing with the Stars or whatever the hell the
Yeah.
latest reality garbage is. Yeah, well, AGI. I mean, there's a guy I follow his videos. He believes we're going to have something similar to that in a year. I find that hard to believe, but maybe. I guess, well, it depends on what your definition of AGI is. Uh, you know, where that's going, it's so convoluted. It's such a shot in the dark. We know things in the AI world are moving ahead at a rapid pace. I'm not of the viewpoint, and I might be totally mistaken, but I'm not of the viewpoint where if we just connect enough nodes together and we put enough code together and we have enough data and enough processors, where suddenly this fucker wakes up and says, "Oh, by the way, I'm alive." I don't buy into that at this point in time, but I think what we're going to end up with is, with all the development taking place, I think you're going to end up with what I call pseudo ANI, artificial narrow intelligence, and you'll have a lot of these basically software built for a variety of purposes. So you'll have software built to trade stocks or commodities or crypto. You'll have software built to go in your doorbell and monitor what's going on outside. You'll have software built that is in your refrigerator, monitoring the temperature and what goes on in your refrigerator and whether you need milk or not. You're going to have AI driving your cars. You'll have AI robots. You'll have all this stuff. But I don't consider that general intelligence. I think it's, and I think we're just going to be surrounded by it, where it's like, it looks like we have it, but, it's just kind of all separate. It's just different companies making different things and different programmers and developers coding different things. And, I mean, you look at Threads, you have the For You algorithm. That For You algorithm is not designed to trade stocks. It's never going to be designed to trade stocks. Now, there's programs out there that can trade stocks, but those programs will not change your feed on Threads. But yeah, most of the masses are asleep anyway. So
Yeah, like you said, unless it's on Desperate Housewives, then you're not going to know about it.
is that one of the shows?
Dude, I haven't had cable for like half a decade now, so I have no idea.
I don't know.
Yeah. Any word on whether there's another tag like Threadcast that can be used to set the settings to live update and latest for everyone, but doesn't involve a video stream?
I've used the term discussion. Why not have discussions on Threads, where it has the same format of a Threadcast, but you enter hashtag discussion. It gives you the reverse comment order, it gives you the automatic updates, it's live, but you have a discussion about cryptocurrency, or let's say this, you have a discussion about movies. And so a bunch of us get in there and say, or somebody throws up a discussion that says, what is your favorite movie? And then people go in and answer it. And I call Django an idiot for aliens and, liking the Buffalo Bills. So he has 2 strikes against him. Draft day was pretty good, so I can't knock him for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Maybe the Giants should have seen that damn film and draft better, and it would be 1-6. But anyway, we digress. I've gone to Cal and I said, why don't you set this up? We call it discussions. Just in addition to the Threads cast tag, make discussion tags, and we'll just start promoting the idea of discussions. And people can discuss whatever they want. And if Nifty and I want to go talk about feet, we can have.
You guys can talk about feet. That's fine. Yeah.
And you know what? It will be a heavily attended. It may be the biggest discussion on Threads, because Nifty and I know that the anonymity of Web3 is going to bring all the feet people out, because it's a bigger crowd than people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know
Thank you, Tokenized. Tokenized trying to change the subject here. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have you heard anything about Vim? It's been a while now. Are they ever coming back? I don't know. I went to, you know what? It's funny. I went to their Discord yesterday just to kind of do an update. They updated something like 2 weeks ago saying they're waiting to pay a bill and then they're going to turn it back on. So I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. It's a damn shame, but that opens up the potential for maybe someone else to step up. Maybe 3Speak steps up. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what Vim's doing. I wish they were still around because I loved Vim, but I have going to their Discord. It's just really weird. They say things every couple of weeks saying, "Yeah, we're just waiting for this, and we're going to turn it back on." So,
And I think that's an important lesson that we all need to be reminded of. This is technology. There's going to be Hive's version of WebVan. Ideas that maybe sound great in theory, maybe even get a good start, but they just fail for a variety of reasons. We're not going to bat 100% on all this stuff. And I mean, I hope Vim comes back. But like Django said, there's an opportunity. I mean, it's a void that potentially we might need to fill, or maybe we don't. Maybe there's enough stuff out there where the idea of just streaming this through is good enough. I don't know.
Yep.
Because Vim didn't save anything anyway. So it was only just a live stream.
Yep. Sunseeker's got a couple of questions here. One from today. What happened last week? I was busy and noticed it didn't go live. What happened is me. That's what happened. Task is always here. Task lives on.
John was mad at me and didn't like me and wanted to.
No, we said it was the rain. Isn't that what we said? It was the rain or something last week.
Yeah,
that was the excuse.
It's funny. I say shit like that. I post threads like that. And I got the
people take it serious, man.
They think I'm serious. It's
someone said to me, "I hope it's not too bad where you're at, man." I'm like, "Oh yeah, no." The rain here is almost snow. It's so damn cold.
I mean, I'm just sitting there like, Django, did he not realize I was freaking kidding?
Yeah. No, that was just me. Like again, my schedule and it's just a complete mess. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. Some days I start work at 5 a.m. Tomorrow I'm not starting work till 9 a.m. The schedule is just complete. So anytime we want to moon so this guy can stop working offline, that'd be great. Because all I want in life is to get back to working from home. I hate this 9 to 5 things or whatever, 6 to 6 stuff. Sucks. Anyways. The guys from Chill and Grill roasted Eric, and not in a good way, because they acted from their ignorance and closed minds. But this speaks a lot about how the audience actually are, not a question, but something. So apparently, I guess this is from one of the spaces Eric was at. He got roasted or something from a bunch of jackholes that, like talk about Web3 and try to sell you NFTs. But, and these people are clowns. They're all clowns. Every single one of them. And I'm saying it, every jackhole, every jackass that says decentralized Web3, SocialFi, all this crap in their taglines and Twitter, they're all idiots. Don't listen to them because they don't live and breathe and die this stuff. So these guys just got follower counts. They think that, they got a little blue check mark beside their name. They think they're high and mighty. They're idiots. Eric lives and breathes and dies this stuff. He's been doing it I've known this guy now since I joined this blockchain. And these people, the people that are on Leo, the people on Hive, we're the ones actually living this stuff. So I don't know the backstory. Maybe the Chill and Grill guys are great. I don't know. But any of these idiots that claim Web3, that claim crypto, that claim all this stuff, but are ready to MetaMask forever, Ethereum forever. I need to get my OpenSea account unhacked. I lost my keys. Idiots. Anyways, thank you for listening to my rant, Task.
Well, I mean, we have nothing to put forward. I mean, that's why I started going in the direction I did. Is again, send Eric out in 6 months, and he says, "Oh, on Leo, we're building decentralized Wikipedia." Oh, by the way, we have a decentralized service similar to Rotten Tomatoes or similar to IMDb. That's not owned by Fandango or it's not owned by Amazon. You know, these are the things that are going to garner the attention. And this is why I talked about building. And so many people kick back and say, but I'm not a developer. I can't build dApps. No, we don't need, I mean, we do need people to build dApps, but the dApp builders are kind of hindered because we don't have smart contracts. I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about business people. I'm talking about if you look at, and I wrote a post about this with the analogy, where the base layer developers, they're providing the infrastructure. So if we are going out into the prairie lands and we're going to set up a town, these are the guys running the utilities, the electrical, the plumbing, the sewage, all that. That's what Block Trades and his teams do. Then you have the developers, the dApps. Those are your buildings. Those are your houses and your saloon and your hotels and your brothel and your general store and all that good stuff. Then you have the laborers. Those are the people who go from town to town, and when the economy's hot in one area, they'll all move and they migrate, and they're not very dedicated and they don't stick around. Those are users. And in between is the motherfuckers who take the buildings and they build businesses, because not all those buildings are residential. And they're the ones who become the shopkeepers. They become the hotel owners. They run the whorehouse. They, run the stables. They set up the different businesses. This is what we're lacking on Leo. This is what we need. People to take what's here, not wish other things were here. We can't deal with that. You deal with what's in front of you. You start building. You get started. You don't worry about the obstacles. You figure out how to get around them, and you ride the wave. There is development taking place at the base layer. There is development taking place on Leo. So over time, things get corrected. Things get kind of start to come together. And if you look at watch movies for free, I set that community up months ago, probably 6 months ago, and it was a failure. Why was it a failure? Because every movie I put on there was a thread and they disappeared. Now they're somewhere on the blockchain. Maybe they'll get them back sometime, but that was a failure. But when I started to build out this Rotten Tomato, this IMDb thing, and I said, oh, wait, a blog post never disappears in these communities. What if we stick the video in, and now all of a sudden that community has use? It's like, wait a second, I can start to use that community tag right there, then and there. The videos are. Can't search them for shit because there's no search on the blog level. There's search now on Leo at the thread level, but maybe someday we'll get full text search on blogs, and all of a sudden we have something that's useful. This is what I keep harping upon. Not being a developer. If you are a developer, and what happens is if you start this process, you'll find the developers. They'll show up. They'll turn up.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because they're around. And, it was like Brian of London. He just undertook this thing and said, okay, I see a thing with podcasting. He did that. Then he did value for value. And he's off and running. And he now, 2.5 years later, whatever it is, he has himself an interesting project. It's the same thing. So just start building something. And you never know what can get incorporated in, who you're going to team up with. But you got to start thinking about businesses. And, I don't want to give away the post that I'm going to write tomorrow, but I will. Instead of start thinking about rewards, start thinking about posts as pages. This is the internet. These are web pages. Every post is a web page. Start thinking in those terms.
That's a good
what
way
can
of looking
you
at
build
it.
out if you had unlimited pages?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a good way of looking at it, too. Tokenize. Do you think projects such as Stars Arena tarnish the term SocialFi? Should InLeo steer away from the label or try to show it's different from anything else? Yeah,
Yes.
it's these buzz
Fuck
terms,
labels.
man. buzzwords all the time. Like
Yeah.
I didn't even know social fi was a thing, and apparently it is.
And it's been a thing because I've been writing about it for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
How long have I been writing about social media and finance are going to merge? And
Right.
now they come out with a cute
Yeah,
term
but like
look, Socialfy is the greatest, latest thing. I've been writing about that.
This is the problem with this is that it can't be true because it's never built on decentralized blockchains. There's always someone controlling it.
Well, that gets into a bigger question with, yeah, I mean, you got KYC going on Ethereum. It's like, gee, and I had some dimwit in one of my articles to write a comment. We need KYC on Hive. I said, how are you going to put KYC on Hive, you moron? You can't. How are you going to do that?
These people, some people's children. Sunseeker wants to know, she loves the name in Leo. But do you think Cal checked if the .com was available? Because there is already inleo.com. Yeah, I mean...
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, but like trying to find a .com these days, especially something as short as a 5-letter, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. And again, you're in the hyperlink world. How often do you type a URL?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, most times it's where clicking off something else. So, it's like some people, not many, but a few people objected to the name. It's like, who cares? If you know
what do you think of the name? Yeah, like that it's funny. We haven't even had a talk since the rebrand happened. Because I missed last week because of the rain. But I'm like you. I'm like you. The name is whatever.
Canada's known for Trudeau and its rain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jeez, Trudeau. Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, the name is whatever. The brand's cool. Whatever. Who cares? It's the community. It's what's behind it that matters. And they all say that till I'm blue in the face. It's just that's what matters.
You do with it. I don't give a shit what you call it. You could call it dog shit website. Yeah. It's like you remember the download program Kaza? What the fuck's a Kaza?
Right. Yeah.
But that was huge.
What's a Napster?
Exactly. What's a Napster? You know what I recommended to Cal for the name? I took Kaza and I said, Cal, Kazii, Kazi. And he says, I like it for obvious reasons, because that's his last name. But why not Kazi with double I like Hawaii? Yeah. I mean, I thought that was a cool ass name. You probably could get Kazi.com. And who gives a shit? It's like, who cares? I mean, people say, I love the name in Leo. It's like, okay. I mean, it's not a bad name, but it's not Carl, but I don't care. It's what do you do around it? What do you do to brand it? What are you building on it? And, I'm very optimistic that Leo Glossary, because I'm going to work my ass off and try to attract people who are also willing to work their ass off. I'm going to make Leo Glossary something huge. So at the end of the day, what's the difference of the name? It's like, just call it Leo.
Yep.
And brand the Leo, brand the concept, brand the idea of a totally, completely different community structure. I don't want to say business structure, community structure. And that entails obviously a lot more with the tokenization and, the NFTs and the different ad revenues and the premium and all this stuff that that was talked about today.
Yep. And to finish it off, we got a couple from Manny, friend from Hive, Cuba. He said, who's the next guest going to be? He wants to see Krim over here. We've had Krim actually as a guest. She's awesome. She rocks. Of course, it's scheduling is just a insanity with my life these days. But yeah, Krim definitely. We'd love to have her back. And then he says, have you guys tried the new swap feature on Keychain? No, I have not. I do, though, every morning jump on Leo on the Keychain browser app. And it's pretty decent. It's not too shabby at all. So I am mobile with my phone on Threads. So there's that.
Yeah, I use Keychain for my mobile stuff too. I just use the browser in there, and I haven't had any problems. I mean, it seems some people do, but then typically, even if I'm on my phone, I tend to be on Wi-Fi anyway. So maybe it's people having the issues. I know a lot of areas they have issues with their networks anyway. So.
The tokenized wanted to know what's he's WTF is .io. Apparently, it's a domain assigned to a British Indian Ocean territory. Well, IO is supposed to be input output, right? So it's supposed to be a tech domain extension. That's why people use the IO.
Yeah, now people are using it because it's the only one available.
Yeah, because you can't get .coms. I mean,
and probably you can't even get .org anymore.
Oh, well, I mean, I started registering .cas for my kids' names and stuff because you couldn't get the .com anymore. So it's insanity. Guys, we did it. Thank you for tuning in late. If you're watching the live stream, appreciate you. Tass, thanks for staying past your bedtime, man. And hopefully
now I won't go to bed till 3 because I just had a cup of coffee.
Oh, dude, you can't do that, man. I get to sleep in tomorrow, though, so that's good. Anyways, guys, have a fantastic couple days. We will see you back on chain on Thursday. Toodles.